The rain had just started falling over the quiet suburban street when Sergeant Ethan Cole stepped out of the cab, his duffel bag slung over his shoulder. The sound of his boots hitting the wet pavement was the only noise breaking the silence. His uniform, still smelling faintly of sand and gunpowder, clung to him as he stood there for a moment, looking at the familiar little white house that had been his safe place all his life. It had been 9 months since he'd seen it, 9 months since he'd last hugged his little sister, Lily. He hadn't told anyone he was coming home. His return was supposed to be a surprise, a joyful reunion filled with laughter and tears. But as he walked up the steps, there was an unsettling stillness in the air, a heaviness that he couldn't quite explain. Before we go deeper into this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of standing up for those we love, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps bring more heartfelt stories to life. Ethan turned the handle slowly, expecting Lily to rush into his arms like she always had. Instead, the first thing he saw was her sitting at the kitchen table, her shoulders hunched, her face turned away. Something was off, her posture was tense, and her hands trembled slightly as they gripped a mug of untouched tea. When she finally looked up at him, Ethan's breath caught in his chest. Her right cheek was swollen and purple, the faint outline of a bruise creeping toward her eye. In an instant, the excitement of his homecoming drained away, replaced by a cold, sinking rage he hadn't felt in years. He dropped his bag without a sound, every muscle in his body tightening as 1,000 questions flooded his mind. The military had taught Ethan to keep his emotions in check, to assess a situation calmly before taking action, but this was different. This wasn't a battlefield. This was his baby sister. And someone had hurt her. His heart pounded as he tried to process what he was seeing. Memories of their childhood flashed through his mind, Lily with scraped knees after falling off her bike, Lily crying after her first heartbreak, Lily smiling proudly as she graduated. He had always been her protector, even from thousands of miles away. But now he had failed her, and the guilt wrapped around him like barbed wire. Days passed in a haze of confusion and quiet observation. Lily avoided his questions, brushing off her injury with weak excuses about clumsiness and accidents. Ethan knew better. The military had trained him to notice subtle details, the way her voice cracked when she said she was fine, the nervous glances she threw toward the door whenever her boyfriend's name came up, the way she flinched at sudden noises. There was a story behind those bruises, one she was too afraid to tell. But Ethan wasn't going to push her. He knew that trust couldn't be forced, it had to be earned. As time went on, Ethan started noticing other signs. The house felt different, darker somehow. The once vibrant space, filled with Lily's laughter and music, now seemed heavy with tension. There were nights when he heard her crying softly in her room, stifling the sound so no one would hear. Each time, it broke him a little more. He remembered the promise he had made to their late parents before shipping out, that he would always protect Lily, no matter what. And now, standing in his childhood home, he realized he had to keep that promise, even if it meant confronting something he wasn't ready to face. One afternoon, Ethan returned home earlier than usual after running errands. As he approached the house, he heard voices from inside. A man's voice, low and angry, echoed through the walls, followed by Lily's soft, apologetic tone. Ethan froze outside the door, every instinct in him screaming to burst in. When he stepped inside, what he saw made his blood run cold. Lily stood by the kitchen counter, her head bowed, while a man loomed over her, his hand gripping her arm tightly. Ethan's training kicked in, not in violence, but in control. He stepped forward, his voice calm but firm, demanding the man let go. The stranger turned, surprise flashing across his face when he saw Ethan in uniform. There was a tense moment of silence before the man muttered something under his breath and stormed out, leaving Lily shaking in the kitchen. In the days that followed, Ethan tried everything to help her. He cooked meals for her, encouraged her to talk, reminded her of her strength. But he also knew that healing wasn't instant. Lily had been living in fear for months, maybe longer, and trust would take time to rebuild. Slowly, he began to see small changes. Her eyes seemed a little brighter, her laughter returned in brief moments, and she even started working on her art again. Ethan stayed close, quietly protecting her, making sure she knew she wasn't alone anymore. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Lily finally spoke. She told him everything, about the controlling relationship, the fear, the isolation. She admitted that she hadn't told him sooner because she didn't want to burden him while he was serving overseas. Her voice broke as she apologized, but Ethan stopped her gently, reminding her that none of this was her fault. That night, as she cried in his arms, he promised her that she would never face anything like this again. He would make sure she was safe, loved, and supported. Weeks later, with Ethan's help, Lily took brave steps toward rebuilding her life. She found a support group, reconnected with friends she had distanced herself from, and even started teaching art classes at a local community center. Ethan watched proudly as his little sister transformed from someone living in fear to someone reclaiming her strength. He realized that his surprise return home, though born from joy, had been exactly what she needed at that moment. Sometimes, life has a way of placing you exactly where you are meant to be. As the story of Ethan and Lily comes to a close, if this journey touched your heart or reminded you of the power of love, family, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, share it so others can find hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner for more stories that inspire and heal. Your support truly makes a difference. And before we end, we have a special request. Please comment below and tell us, have you ever been someone's unexpected source of strength, or has someone shown up for you when you needed it most? We'd love to hear your story. Before we end, we have a special request for you. Please take a moment to share your own experience in the comments below. Has there ever been a time when someone showed up for you unexpectedly and gave you the strength you didn't even know you needed? Or maybe you were the one who stepped in for someone else at just the right moment. Your stories matter, and they can inspire others who might be silently struggling. We would love to read your experiences, so don't hesitate, share your thoughts, your moments, and your heart in the comments below.